So on today's video I thought I'd talk about what was one of the most spontaneous releases ever to come out on Boss Tuneage, and that band was High Lo-Fi.
This time I mean it, this time for real, this time I feel it, tell me how time will heal, what's he trying to change, still stays the same, does that make it fair, I don't know and I don't care, I saw you standing there on the edge of nowhere, I can't play so what's your game, cut so clean but also frayed, close to me so far away, one times one is still the same, tell me.
So, High Lo-Fi from Canada. Basically, this was probably, I'm pretty certain, the quickest release from the initial point of contacting the band to the actual CDs arriving that I think I ever did. I remember I got an email one night from Matt Taylor, who was the drummer obviously in All Systems Go, and I think he'd been recommended by one of the Canadian connection to me about his new band that he was doing called High Lo-Fi, which he was singer-guitarist in. And he sent me an MP3 by email of it, and I was blown away. This was a fantastic, catchy, and pretty much, I thought, really commercial song. And I thought that High Lo-Fi would be one of these bands, and I thought, why isn't this on the radio? I could really imagine this on the radio over here, and thought that, this was going to be have the potential to be a really big single. So we had the initial emails, and I think in the space of about 3-4 hours with emails going backwards and forwards, me sort of getting into like 1-2 in the morning, it was on a school night as well, so it shows you used to burn the candle at both ends a bit with the label in those days. Can't do that now. And I remember there was sort of the emails went backwards and forwards to Matt, and basically in the space of about 4 hours between the emails, we decided we were going to put out a CD single of this track called 1x1 and a couple of other songs. And we called it Three-Sided Single. So we packaged it in the sort of CD with a wallet. I was kind of doing the packaging as at that time. And I think I got the actual master and artwork from them sort of 2 or 3 days later. And then I pressed it straight away. So about a week later, we actually had the CD. So I think from the first port of call to actually it coming out was about 9 days. But I really thought with this song, this is really radio friendly. This needs to get on the radio, because I reckon if people hear this on the radio, we could have a really big thing here. I was soon to find that trying to sort of break an unknown band to look at sort of like a bigger commercial kind of success was a pretty close shop. I remember I did send it out to a lot of people who I worked through Key Production with the idea of maybe they'd want to take this single on. So people like Nude Records who were doing Suede and others. But I think everyone was like, yeah, it's good, but no. And so, it did okay, but I think probably for the underground punk scene that I was kind of predominantly in, it was probably just a little touch too commercial, if that makes sense. I think it was a bit too polished for our core audience of people who were buying it. So it did okay, and but it wasn't going to be this mammoth kind of commercial success that I perhaps thought it was going to be. Yeah, so I do remember at the time I was absolutely convinced that people like Steve Lamacq were going to play it on whatever station he was on. I think he was still at Radio 1 then doing the evening session, and you have to remember that obviously this was the time when like the Offspring had really broken big, Green Day were obviously huge, so I kind of figured that there would be this market for this that I could get into and tap into, and so it was probably sort of one of the releases that I chose to do because I could see sort of like a commercial end goal more than in effect I thought this would be sort of my Manic Street Preachers, Suicide Alley, Motown Junk kind of release that like Damaged Goods had, where obviously Manic Street Preachers did a single on Damaged Goods first and then moved on to the the big band they became. And so I think for that time I was really convinced that that was what was going to happen with High Lo-Fi. I remember being absolutely certain this is going to happen, and yeah, didn't really happen. And of course the reason it could come out so quick was by this time they were, I think, probably the second thing I pressed once I'd moved to Key Production and changed my job, where I'd now obviously got a credit account, so I could kind of just put things into, you know, be pressed and then, you know, worry about paying for them afterwards. So I think in some ways it made me think, stick to what you know best, don't assume anything, that and made me realise that actually the idea of breaking a band big and selling umpteen thousand, you know, that wasn't the best thing for me to be doing. You know, it didn't, you know, it's not like we spent a fortune, don't get me wrong, we didn't spend a fortune on promotion, and probably we needed like PR agents, press companies, and, you know, did I want to spend umpteen thousand on that when I could put out another 5-10 releases on Boss Tuneage? And the answer was probably not. But yeah, so it was quite short-lived. I remember that Glenn from Does Everyone Stare, who we started doing co-release, and I'll obviously speak about Does Everyone Stare and the bands that we co-released then, really liked them, and I think he got them involved on a comp LP that he did as well. And I think they were looking more to be like a commercial band from what I could tell. I think they got a management company and things like that. So yeah, I was really pleased to do it, and you know, it's kind of a very short little footnote, I guess, on the history of Boss Tuneage, but you know, I still think back now, and that was kind of, it's set in stone that actually, you know, getting things organised with overseas bands, the difference, if you go back to like dealing with Rise in 1992, and now here we were 8 years later with the internet, and things could be put together in less than a fortnight. So yeah, High Lo-Fi, if you're not familiar, go check them out. And that's it for this video. See you on the next one.